described herein of real property located at 2973 Southwest 36th Avenue, Miami, Florida, is more particularly described in Exhibit A, making findings and providing for an effective date. PZ 8, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by changing the zoning classification from T30 suburban transit zone open to T4L general urban transit zone limited of the property generally located at 2973 Southwest 36th Avenue, and by changing the zoning classification from T50 urban center transit zone open to T680 urban core transit zone open of the property located at 3555 Southwest 29 Terrace, Miami, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, further accepting the voluntarily proffered covenant attached and incorporated Exhibit B, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. PZ 9. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to section 163-3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from low-density multifamily residential and low-density restricted commercial to restricted commercial of the acreage described herein of real property at 43 Northeast 53rd Street and 50 Northeast 54th Street, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. PZ 10, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by changing the zoning classification from T4R General Urban Transit Zone restricted to T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open of the property generally located at 43 Northeast 53rd Street from T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open to T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open for the property generally located at 40 Northeast 54th Street and T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open to T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open northern portion from T4R General Urban Transit Zone restricted to T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open southwestern portion, and from T40 General Urban Transit Zone open to T50 Urban Center Transit Zone open southeastern portion of the property generally located at 50 Northeast 54th Street, Miami, Florida, collectively the property more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. PZ 11, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended specifically by amending Article 5, Section 5.3.1, titled Building Disposition, T3, and amending Article 7, Section 7.1.2.3, titled Alterations and Expansion of Nonconformities, to clarify and amend the waiver process relating to alterations to non-conforming single-family residences or two-family housing structures, further amending Article 7, Section 7.1.2.5 of the Miami 21 Code titled Waiver to update the waiver summary list, making findings containing a severability clause, providing for vesting, and providing for an effective date. Then we have PZ 12, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended specifically by amending Article 1 titled Definitions to add new definitions, amending Article 3 titled General to Zones to clarify and amend the waiver processes relating to elderly housing or for adaptive uses in community redevelopment areas, amending Article 4 titled Standards and Tables to clarify and amend the waiver process relating to substitution of loading berths and off-site parking placement, amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones to clarify and amend the waiver process relating to service and parking access from a principal frontage and pedestrian and vehicular entry spacing, amending Article 6 titled Supplemental Regulations to clarify and amend the waiver process relating to reservoir parking spaces, and amending Article 7 titled Procedures and Nonconformities to clarify and amend the waiver process related to nonconforming properties and update the waivers summary list, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for vesting and providing for an effective date. Then PZ 13, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones, specifically Section 5.5.1 titled Building Disposition Illustration, 5.5, Section 5.6.1 titled Building Disposition, and Illustration 5.6 to introduce a flexible lot coverage program, and by amending Article 7 titled Procedures and Nonconformities, specifically Section 7.1.2.5 titled Waiver to clarify the application of waivers and amend the 10% waiver, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for vesting and providing for an effective date. Then PZ 14, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by amending Article 7, Section 7.1.3.5, Procedures and Nonconformities, Modifications to Applications Requiring Public Hearing, to clarify the minor modification allowance of a footprint of a building containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. And then PZ 16, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by amending Article 1 titled Definitions to update green roof definitions and introduce intermediate level definition. Further, amending Article 3 titled General to Zones and Appendix J titled Wynwood NRD 1 to clarify application of intermediate level, and amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones, Appendix J titled Wynwood NRD 1, and Appendix P titled Wynwood Norte NRD 2 to update and clarify configuration standards for rooftop elements and to introduce additional provisions for rooftop habitable space and green roofs within the T5, T6, D1, D2, and D3 transit zones, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. PZ 17, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, amending Appendix J, Section 3, titled Wynwood NRD General to Zones to clarify standards in relation to loading berths and to clarify application of the Wynwood NRD 1 Transfer of Development Density Program, further amending Appendix J, Section 4, titled Wynwood NRD 1 Standards and Tables to permit hotel uses within D1 transit zones and to clarify standards in relation to parking substitutions, and further amending Appendix J, Section 5, titled Wynwood NRD 1 Specific to Zones to amend art requirements on building facades containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. And Madam Chair, just to look a second, just to see if there's any changes.
6, 12, and 16 need to be as amended.
Right. I believe PZ 6 is modified to add the PZAB info. And which other ones did you say, Madam Chair?
12,
Okay, 12. On item 12, we were working with Ms. Escarra to try and find to add the request with regard to additional feet for structures that are protruding, or art, or what did you call them?
Architectural features.
Right.
So there's an element there that we're trying to, an interpretation on projections that we're trying to clarify. I think we're working with staff to come back in December with that language for your consideration. So PZ12 would go as is, and we'll come back with that to clarify, because there was an unintended consequence that would be restricted.
Right, so Madam Chair, for that item, PZ12 is a second reading item today. So what we would do is this reading, we're going to revert it back to another first reading so that.
To include the amendment?
I apologize. We worked with staff during lunch. The item that's before you today will proceed as is. In December, we're going to come back with the amendment that we were trying to add into today's item. So like there's enough time to put it into the agenda. So today advances as is, and we're coming back to you in December with that other language on the architectural feature.
I want, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I want some clarification on PC 12. Is that waiver reform project parking-related waivers? You clarify that?
Madam Director?
So I'm going to call my colleague Dan Goldberg to speak about this item.
And also on PC 17, this affects Wynwood and the NRD's.
NRD, yes.
Good afternoon, Daniel Goldberg, zoning administrator. I apologize, I was unable to hear the question back there as to PC 12.
PC 12, can you explain what effect does it have in parking?
It does not touch the parking count whatsoever. It's just some minor modifications to parking standards, but parking count is not touched as part of it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to do.
Thanks,
I move
sir.
it.
Okay.
Okay, so for the PZ12 item, other discussions were had that I wasn't privy to. So for PZ12, it's going to proceed.
Just as is
Right.
with the amendment that was, no amendment, just
No,
regular?
no amendment.
Okay, so just for clarification, I'm asking for a motion for PZ6 as amended, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
17.
No 15, no PC 15.
I'm sorry, we passed 15, 16, and 17.
And PC 16 as
16
amended.
As amended.
Move it.
I have a mover.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
That takes care of our PZ items, which will bring us back to our mitigation,
Mitigation.
RE1, 500 Northeast 78th Street, and 522 Northeast 78th Street.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
I believe staff will speak first.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Director. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, Commissioners. Bear with me a second. I have a computer here that not belong to me.
Well, take it anyway.
But we're gonna go through it. RE1 is a mitigation of two addresses for the same respondent. The addresses are 500 Northeast 78th Street and 522 Northeast 78th Street. Both violations are for failure to obtain certificate of use and business tax receipt. For the property address at 500, the property was adjudicated and the violation ran for 939 days, accruing a total of $234,750. For the violation at 522 Northeast 78th Street, it was adjudicated back on September 2019. The violation ran for 1,301 days, accruing a total of $325,250. The collectively, I have the amounts here. I understand the respondent, and I'm going to yield to legal for further elaboration, but I understand respondent is prepared to offer 15%, a total of $84,000. Yes, sir.
Está bien.
Yeah, you said it all. You said everything. I have nothing else to add, unless you have a question.
Sir?
Good
Go ahead.
afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Madam Chairwoman.
Please introduce yourself for the record.
Mark Cass, I'm here for the respondent. Sorry, Mark Cass, I am here for the respondent, K-A-S-S, M-A-R-K, K-A-S-S. I'd like to bring to the Commission a couple of additional facts. One is the violations were instituted prior to my client's ownership of the property. My client bought the property in May 2022 and
Excuse me,
brought...
hold on one second. Your client bought the property without knowledge of the liens?
I believe that they knew there were some licensing issues, but they didn't know the extent of the violations and the amounts at issue.
Wait,
But-
hold on one second. When the property was sold, the liens,
As far as I know, the liens should have been in place.
The lien is a valid lien. There's no issues about notice and proper recording of the lien. However, I do believe what I was advised, that they knew that they needed to correct the situation, but was not aware of the per diem lien.
One question,
Right.
through the chair.
go ahead.
When you buy a property, you don't do a title search? In a title search, doesn't everything, everything that has been recorded
It
will
should
show?
appear.
It should be, that link should have been in the title search.
It was.
Unless you don't do it, whoever closed that, I think,
I wasn't bringing up that fact to
Hold
say
on,
we were
hold on,
without...
Hold on one second, hold on one second. And you're saying that, so they didn't have a CU or BTR prior to
Correct.
his purchase, and that's what the liens were for?
Correct.
But that he did have knowledge
Correct.
of the liens when he purchased the property?
Right.
Constructive knowledge, I would imagine, because it was a
Yes,
recorded
because
lien.
you find that in the title search. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sorry. My point in bringing that to the Commission's attention was not to say that my client was not on record notice or constructive notice, was just to bring to the Commission's attention that they were not the violators, and that they did purchase the property in May 2022, and that the first violation was brought into compliance by June 30th, 2022, about a month and a half after. The second one did take longer. There were some more intricacies involved there, but they were not the violator. The violations don't relate specifically to the condition of the property. It really is a licensing issue. And my client did act very, we believe, diligently, certainly in getting the violations corrected as soon as possible and working with the city. And, you know, we have rehabbed the entire property and put it in much better condition, and compliance was eventually met. So we are offering to pay 15% of the face amount of the current violations.
So it's 15% of the total violation?
Yes, ma'am. $84,000 in total.
I know, it's my call.
Anything else?
And there were no violations after they purchased the property?
No, so the history, and I do have it here, in case of drill downs, and we have not had any violations since. Prior to the purchase, it does have a history, but not the new owner. There are two-story apartment complexes, and they are in in good shape.
May I have a motion to accept the offer?
I second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As amended?
As amended.
Thank you, sir.
RE2,
Good meeting.
I think
I think that's you.
Huh?
Is that you? Flagler 251 LLC?
Commissioners, good
that's
afternoon.
District 2.
Oh,
Item
it's
two.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Item 2 is a mitigation of a property located at 40 Northeast 3rd Avenue, Flagler 251, Inc. The violations are for, there's two cases, two separate violations. One for construction work without permits, specifically windows and shutters. The second one is for a certificate of use and BTR for one of the tenants. As I see it, and I've talked to, well, this is not, I haven't spoken with counsel on this instance, but I'm going to yield to Legal Division Chief Dooley because there's I'm not completely certain what the last amount offered is by respondent, so.
Madam Chair, before we continue, I have Janet disclosure on this item and the next one.
Madam City Attorney,
Yes, he had
He's
said it
disclosed,
earlier as
yes.
well. Thank you,
Okay.
Commission.
Good afternoon, Rachel Dooley, Assistant City Attorney for the City Attorney's Office. Good afternoon. In this particular case, the suit was filed to quiet title. The work without the permit was issued in 2019. It was for the requirements that they all downtown change the shutters. They did, and they can tell you, but I can tell you they ran into some issues with their contractors from 2019 into 2020 with getting the work done, having supplies and all of those things. During the course of that time, then of course they had new tenants who could not get their CU and BTR because they had the work without permit. You guys have since amended that section of the code so that they can do their applications, but at that time, they were not able to do so. So I think they ran into what is a catch-22. It is what it is, but it is a catch-22. I know they had discussed another amount. They're really hoping to pay about 5%, which roughly comes out to, for both of them, just under $16,000. I know they were willing to go to 10, but they're sort of hoping for 5% in that perspective, but they can tell you more with regards to that. But in terms of fixing it, they did get it fixed, within a 2-year period.
sir?
Joshua Salmon on behalf of Flagler 251 LLC. So the reasons we believe a reduction is in order are multiple. The first one being the work that was done was work that was only done because we were trying to be in compliance with the downtown beautification plan. The shutters that were there were perfectly operational. However, there was a request to have those changed, so we did so. My client hired a contractor.
Without a permit?
I'm sorry?
But you were doing work without a permit?
My client had a vendor and contractor. They were informed that the work was minor and did not require a permit, that there was no notice of acceptance required, anything like that. It was a licensed contractor. My client is not a contractor. They took the people that they hired at their word. They later learned a month later.
Counselor, you know ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
No argument there.
Okay, go on.
When they got the violation, they immediately attempted to start coming into compliance. Shortly thereafter, of course, in early 2020, we ran into COVID. It was hard to get work done. They had multiple contractors that had pulled out. They had issues back and forth with the city on the notices of acceptance, getting the proper products, all of that. The downtown beautification project, of course, the property I'm talking about is the Marshalls on Southeast 3rd Street in Flagler. That building area right there, the streets were basically shut down in front of it. Marshalls is a unique business, especially in the fact that it hardly has an online component. They also rely heavily on the cruise industry, which was largely shut down during that time period as well. They had issues back and forth during that period. They did finally get it corrected. The certificate of use the violation is basically duplicative, which is why we're asking for 5 rather than 10%. It's the exact same issue that caused 2 separate fines, as Ms. Dooley explained. And in addition to that, I was watching some of the other commission meetings, which I must say the videographer does an excellent job, that they separate out. You can literally find your issue and see what's happened in the past. I was impressed with that. It's not just one 4-hour video. But there was multiple times where it was commented that 10% is the usual bottom. However, in certain circumstances where it is not a repeat offender, where there is not an issue of safety.
We understand, sir. We
I have a question.
do it.
Of course.
Go ahead.
You went through a bunch of contractors, right? That's right?
Yes.
Neither one of them informed you that a permit was required?
The other contractors were after the original
the first
contractor
one.
when we were
After the
trying to
first
get someone to fix it.
So-
At that point, we were well aware.
What I'd like to do is make a counter proposal. I'd like to offer that we accept 12% for the first violation and none for the second.
Or 10. Or 10.
12. Because I'm
I
not,
like the 12 as well.
I'm not asking, what I'm trying, because I know the CU
Yes.
was not your fault. That you really couldn't, because you were stuck, and we have since resolved that. So I'd like to ask for 12% from the first one and nothing for the second one.
I agree with you.
I second.
Move it.
It's fair. I mean, we cannot go down all the way to 5 because,
Yeah, I'm not, so,
we understand that you went
So
through an
it-
unfortunate moment, but
That's
no.
right. Okay, I
good,
move it.
everybody? I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, thank you.
As amended.
I think
As
it's
amended.
It's fair enough.
RE3,
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Chair. RE3 is a mitigation of a property located at 1091 Northwest 22nd Street. The respondent is Flatiron 22 LLC. The violations are for vacant lot. Give me a second. The violations are for CU BTR by a tenant. There were some issues clearly getting the tenant vacated. The lien ran for a total of 1,362 days for a total amount of $340,250. And I'm going to yield to counsel for the respondent, as there was an initial offer. I want to allow counsel to elaborate.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations, Commissioner Reyes, again.
Thank you very much.
Miriam Soler Ramos with offices at 701 Brickell Avenue, representing Flatiron LLC. So this is a little bit different than most mitigations that you all see because of the connection to a larger property that is a nonprofit. Flatiron LLC, to be clear, is not a nonprofit. It is a holding company. However, it is held by the owners of the Rubel Museum. And Jason Rubel was actually here this morning. He wanted to speak with you, but he had to go in the afternoon. So as you know, I am sure that area has been seriously improved by these individuals. They have built the museum. They have improved areas around it. This lot was purchased by them. At the time, it was being operated by a tour company. Those individuals that became their tenants created all of these violations. So they exceeded their certificate of use. They did not update certificates of use that they had expired. They did not have their BTRs done, and they completed work without permits. The landlord was unaware of any of this. They learned from their insurance company that this was going on. Immediately upon learning, they got to work, they evicted the client, they ended up demolishing the building, they sodded the lot, and they fenced it. So they came into compliance really as quickly as they were able to, as time allowed, but they ended up with this enormous fine. So the first thing I'd like to say is that, again, this lot is not owned by the nonprofit, but it is intended to in the future benefit the nonprofit. So given those set of facts, there's one additional point I will make. As Code Compliance Director just said, the lien is for $340,000. However, the actual compliance date, the date on which the demo permit was closed, was 2 months prior to the date of the certificate of completion. So that lien amount would be $319,000. And I don't want to speak for staff, but I think that they are amenable to going with the lower amount. And then what we have offered is 5% of that 319, but with the caveat that if there's any way that you could possibly go lower because this is a nonprofit, of course the client and the property owner would be extremely
I'm
grateful.
going to yield to the district commissioner on this one.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to ask you a question. What are the future plans for this lot?
So I asked if they had any plans to move this into ownership of the nonprofit. They do eventually, but they're just not ready to do that now, and they don't know when they're going to be, depending on how they develop it. They think it's going to be parking, but they don't know in what way, if they're going to build something above it or how they want to structure it, so they can't make that promise right now.
Okay. Since it's bought by the museum, and I believe that they are going to use it for the museum. It's going to be used for the museum. I accept it. I am in agreement with the offer.
So you're accepting the 5%?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
I move it.
Second.
Second. I have a motion and a second. As amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Council, for clarification purposes, 5% of the 319. Could you-
319.
Could you put the amount on the record? Do you have it?
Yes, it's
319,250 is what I
319,200.
have.
I'm sorry?
200.
319,250 is what I have.
That's what I have. 319,250. 5% of that.
Thank you and
Thank
happy
you so much.
Thanksgiving.
So
RE
the amount, Madam Chair, is 15,962 with 50 cents.
Okay.
15,962.50.
Okay.
RE5?
Good
I'm
afternoon.
sorry, RE4.
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 Good afternoon, Commissioners. Robert Santos Laborna, Co-Compliance Director. Item 4 is the mitigation of a property located at 173 Northwest 11th Street. There's 2 separate violations with this lot. First set of violations is failure to maintain a lot in the proper condition and failure to register and improper storage. That violation NOV was issued in 2015, hearing in July 2015. It ran for 2,875 days and accrued a total of 718,750. The second violation is for graffiti lot in failure to maintain lot in good condition, illegal vehicle storage, and parking on unimproved surfaces. Violations was issued in May 2018, adjudicated in July 2018, and the lien ran for 1,769 days for a total of 442,250. Collectively, the violations are $1.161 million. I understand, I'm going to let council provide the amount of the offer.
I'm just going to say that I'm asking for 100%. I'm kidding.
I think somebody may have just had their heart literally drop.
No, they almost fainted. It was like,
Floor and out the door.
I couldn't help myself. I
Yeah.
couldn't help myself. Go ahead, Counselor.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commission members. First,
Please state your name for the record.
Carla Jones, on behalf of Mr. Musaddiq Muhammad, who's standing here with me. We have filed a complaint regarding this matter, and I have to say my client purchased this property in 2012 for $90,000. And the intention with respect to purchasing this property was to work with the city with eradicating slum and blight and developing an entertainment development that would bring entertainment back into the Overtown area. In 2016, my client submitted to the city an application for a building permit and had been working with the city since 2015 to present, well, to 2022, to get the building permit approved for this entertainment development. During all this time, my client received no notices of violations. Obviously, had he received those notices, he would have brought the
Counselor, hold on a second.
Rachel Lee, on behalf of the Office of the City Attorney, in terms of the notice issue, all the notices were sent, the properties are also posted. So whether or not the people show
They
up for
had
the hearings, and in this case,
constructive
they didn't show up for the hearing, and I don't know what their issues may have been, but obviously the property's posted. And then, once you have a lien running, every 6 months, a letter is actually sent out. That comes, a dunning letter every 6 months. So just in that particular issue. Now, I know that they were working with the CRA. I know in good faith to get a grant. They're now attempting to do the plans and get the construction done. So obviously, this is standing in the way. I would just take issue with no notice because
I understand.
he may not have
Counselor.
received it, but it was sent and everything was done. Title was pulled. Everything was mailed according.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you. Counselor. So I'm familiar with this project. As the chairwoman of the CRA, I know what the CRA is doing. I know what this project means to the community. So I would like to offer $500,000. I'm sorry. It wasn't a joke. It was a slip. It wasn't a joke. It was a slip. It was a slip. I'd like to offer $500 as the mitigation for this because the CRA is investing in this property, and I understand from my briefing the nuances that occurred that caused all of this. So my offer, if you will accept it, is $500. Is that good?
Is
May I
that
have
for
a
each
motion?
case or total?
Total. May I have a motion? Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
As amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
As amended. You're welcome. RE 5.
You're fine.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Chair, Robert Santos Harbona, Co-Compliance Director. Item 5 is the mitigation of a property located at 722 Northwest 22nd Street. Respondent is 772 plus 5 LLC. It's an industrial warehouse. The violations work for construction work without a permit, specifically a mechanic shop without a CUBTR. It's for CUBTR. As I understand, the violations, NOV issued in October 2019, adjudicated in May 2021. Compliance was met on June 2023. The lien ran for 916 days for a total of $229,000. I understand that the respondent had issues evicting the tenant, and that took place. And I understand that the offer, and the respondent attorney for the respondent is here to elaborate, but I understand it was $5,000.
If I could just real quickly, they actually did raise it to $10,000. The owner, and Rachel Lee, on behalf of the City Attorney's Office, after the suit was filed and we went through everything, this owner was not the owner who committed the violations. This owner inherited and then had to take all of the steps in order to get it complied. It did take some time, but that it did take time to comply, that they were able to take care of it. After their purchase, they purchased it in late 2021, so this violation was from 2019. And so the offer was the $10,000 to settle it.
Correct. Douglas Hiller, Hiller Law, on behalf of the respondent. Address 2655 South Lejeune, PH2C in Coral Gables. I think everything was covered. Obviously, the current owner had no notice. They weren't the violator. From what we understand in checking the records, this work appears to have been done prior to 2007, so several owners back. So.
And when he discusses notice, the prior owner had a registered agent. That registered agent was elderly, had not apparently changed their addresses. We were sending the notices. Of course, that person wasn't getting it. Now, while you may post a property, it's an industrial property, it's empty, you can put that to that side. But, so there were issues with that prior owner that led to the problems that happened. This individual then purchased it, so.
I understand. Do I have a motion to accept the offer of $10,000?
It says 5,000.
No, they actually offered 10, but I'm sure they would definitely be interested in 5. I'll let him.
We're happy to pay 5 instead of 10.
No, I mean, I was thinking if I was very fair since all the
Hiccups. I have a motion for 5.
move it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries as amended.
That's
Thank
what it
you,
says
sir.
here.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you, Commissioners.
Welcome.
That will take care of our items. The only item
We have one more,
I know,
Madam
I know.
Chairwoman.
Oh, another mitigation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's not in order. I think it's RE 12 or something.
Yes, you're correct. RE 12.
Good afternoon, Robert Santos Harbona, Co-Compliance Director. RE 12 is the mitigation of a property located at 2199 Northwest South River Drive. This reverts to a case from 2012 for construction work without permits, for failure to maintain lots, and keeping and harboring fowl. The case was adjudicated on February 2013. There were 4-time extensions at Code Enforcement Board. Fines accrued to a total of $465,750. The violations were complied on January 4th, 2022, and based on my notes, the respondent is offering 10% of the accrued amount, or a total of $46,750.
Good afternoon. members of the commission, Madam Chairwoman. My name is Luis Barreto. I am at 2600 South Douglas Road, Suite 507, Coral Gables, Florida, 33134. I represent the property owner. This property was leased to a tenant. It was a very difficult tenant, and I wanted to show you a picture of what the property looked like before we were able to eject them. And so, my client was fighting with this tenant for years. Part of this problem was we did not know that the tenant had done this work without a permit. We were able finally to eject them after the pandemic in October of 2021. And this is what the property looked like after the ejectment, and we were able to clean it up. We immediately filed and did what we needed to do to comply with the violation. We took care of that. We hired a contractor. Permits were pulled. The unpermitted work was removed, and my client has since continued to make improvements, but this came at an incredible expense. As you could see from that other picture, it was a mess, a hot mess, and we took care of it. On top of that, my original client died in the process. He was an elderly gentleman who, I will just say, as a result of his age, necessarily didn't handle things as someone might have if they were younger, and that led to this problem as well. And so after years of litigation, we got the tenant out and we fixed it. We have offered the 10%. We were trying to get this done earlier, but our meeting, I guess, got postponed a few times. And if you feel inclined to be more magnanimous towards my client, we would gladly accept that, because as it is, my client had to spend over $300,000 just to clean up this property. And I'm sure the city's going to reap the benefit of that in property taxes in the future. So that's what we would ask, Judge. Your Majesty, Madam Chairwoman.
Judge Works.
What are you guys thinking? It's 10% they're offering, which amounts to $465,750.
And the 10% is $46,750.
Okay. I'm an attorney, not an accountant. It's almost Thanksgiving, Christmas is around the corner. I don't,
So 10%.
10? You're pretty tough.
Well.
Because I understand legally that they had an issue with trying to evict the tenant, I'd feel more comfortable with the 5%, if that's okay with everyone.
That would be most gracious and greatly appreciated.
Okay. 5%. So
5%.
do I have a motion?
Making sure that we're collecting the property taxes pretty soon.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. In the near future, we're going to be collecting taxes.
Exactly.
In this area.
More taxes.
Yes.
More taxes.
So
And the amount,
You have a
Chairwoman,
motion.
will be $23,287.50.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries as amended unanimously.
Thank you very
so
much. How do we pay?
I
I'll go see her.
speak to our city attorney. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. A happy Thanksgiving to all.
I love the visuals.
Yeah,
I love the
that was
visuals.
very good.
Yeah,
to bring
that pushed us over.
That's right. That's what.
They're amazing visuals.
Thank you, Commissioner Chairwoman.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to take up RE10. I think Commissioner Kovo, you had some questions about it?
Because I wasn't here last year as a commissioner, I just wanted some clarification on this one, and I wanted to see what made more sense.
Okay, staff?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good
Commissioners.
afternoon.
Annie Perez, Director of Procurement. Yes, Commissioner Kova.
So I was just wondering, I got briefed on it, and it was brought to my attention that it took almost 2 years to actually implement it, and that we're not there yet. I just wanted like a short historical, if possible, and then see what makes more sense, so we can actually have an efficient program that would benefit each of our employees.
Certainly, Can you hear me? Okay. There were some issues that came up, especially when it came to the negotiation. The negotiation of the contract took quite a long time, as sometimes, it does. And that, there were also some issues with not the RFP itself, but in getting things done, getting an evaluation committee, which happens a lot to us. It's very tough to get people to agree to meet and things like that. So those were I think the negotiation part of it did take a little bit, took a long time. So longer
How
than.
long?
I see if I have I don't think I have the timeline here. But I want to say it probably took like over 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Okay. So where are we now?
Well, now the recommendation before you is to award the highest ranked. So the highest ranked, the second highest ranked, so the highest ranked is at 456 points out of 500. The second highest ranked is 444, and then thereafter, the next next two, so the 2, 3, and 4, they're about a point apart. So they're very close. So that's why the committee decided to recommend the highest ranked, which is.
Why don't we just
A.
if it took so long, why don't we just start a new RFP and that's it?
I think as we were so far down the line that we just continued the process to try to come to, and we also had a need for the benefits consulting because we have to put out the RFP, the replacement of Cigna, our current health insurance, and we needed the consultant to help us, help the risk department to do the scope. So I think that's why we continued rather than starting all over again.
So if the proffer is to start over, or
I will make a motion
bid?
to. I will make a motion to just start over.
we're okay with that. I think
yeah.
we're going to go with a contingency anyway.
I will make a motion to just start over. I mean, it's taking forever. But it's taking forever.
So wait, I'm confused. You want to throw this one out and start over again?
Or maybe take it in a different direction.
Or maybe.
Right.
Okay.
It's been so long. I mean, it took forever and it didn't happen.
So.
I don't know. I would love to hear your opinions.
Okay.
Because I wasn't here. That's why I was questioning.
Commissioner Reyes,
I'm fine with that.
with starting over?
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Chair? We are on RE10. It's the Employee Benefits Consulting Agreement. The Employee Benefits Consulting Agreement. RE10. Consulting Agreement, RE10.
No, I'm just concerned, Commissioner Carollo, because I was trying to understand it, and that's why I wanted your opinion, and I wanted to get more clarification. And I saw that it's taken forever, and it just has not happened.
Reject all bids.
So I was thinking that maybe we should just start the RFP all over and make sure that this never happens again, because it's not efficient.
So then the motion would be to reject it. Reject all bids and start all over.
So I have a motion to reject the proposal. Well, if, I need you guys to, before I say something, what's happening?
Yes.
So we just have to reject all bids, but we will draft it as an amendment. So but your motion is to just reject all bids.
So I have a motion and a second to reject all bids. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And we are now at CA3, Vice Chair.
Mr. Manager, have you found some language that would be more appropriate or makes more sense?
So we're going to proffer a compromise, which I think might give some comfort to your concern. So the idea would be, since we've already addressed the federal contract and the requirement we have there that requires us to have a sole one lowest responsive bidder, the idea is for the other scope of work to award it to the low bidder and have the second bidder as an alternate should we ever have the need for additional work in an emergency situation or hurricane or whatever. We have that second vendor as an alternate, but the primary vendor would handle the majority of the work.
I think that's the appropriate way that we should have handled this from the start. That is fine.
Do we have to vote on it?
Yes. Do I have a motion?
Hold on. He needed to speak.
No, he already spoke during public comment.
Okay.
But I'd like to make another comment because I was cut short.
Public
You
comment.
asked,
Public comment period is over, and you had your 2 minutes to speak. You were going over
well,
the 2 minutes.
you told me I could speak again.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Look in your minutes, because I do have facts about the present contract to present and clear up statements that Mr. Carollo mentioned earlier.
Right, it's not a debate. You
No,
had-
no.
you-
Can
But
I-
you had, Todd.
Can you give me 1 minute?
Sir, Todd, did he speak his 2 minutes? Did I say I was going to give him more time to speak? I did not, because I don't do that. So I will leave it up to the body if you guys would like to hear from him, but he had his 2 minutes during public comment, and
We've set a precedent, if you allow.
right,
us
which,
to do that. Everybody that don't agree.
right. So I think we have enough information for us to make a decision. Thank you.
Well, we were referred to as a Texan company, and we have been a local company for the last 17 years. Thank you.
You move it?
Put that on the record.
Okay.
Madam City Attorney, do you need to tell us something?
I'm asking a question on, with regard to this amendment.
I don't know. Madam City Attorney, does this relate to CA3, what you're trying to do? Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
It's fine? So I have a motion and a second for CA3 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Madam Chair, if I may, I have a pocket item, and I'm sorry about the last minute item, but as you recall, we've been working with the county through the 164 mediation process to try and work with the RTZs.
Yes?
The county really hasn't, the conversations have not been fruitful. So we have a 2021 resolution that we passed that you gave me the opportunity to take any and all actions necessary in law or in equity to address the expansion of the RTZ. And I just wanted to formalize that because we may have to file suit in order to not blow the statute of limitations.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure that I am still authorized under this 2021 resolution, even though we've been doing the 164 process now, to file suit if needed.
So can you craft the motion for me?
Yes, a resolution of the Miami City Commission authorizing and directing the city attorney to take any and all actions necessary in law or in equity to address the effect of the city of Miami residents caused by Miami-Dade County's expansion of the rapid transit zone 2 and the preemption of the city's authority over additional properties within the city.
Wait, at this time, let me open it for public comment because it's a pocket item and the public had not been able to comment on that earlier. Anyone? Seeing none, public comment period is closed. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. I believe this shall conclude. No? No.
You just have some discussion items.
Oh, we have discussion items. I'm sorry. Let's take the discussion items. Mr. Director for Parks, Commissioner Koval, you had your parks review last time?
No.
Who had their
I'm gonna
parks?
have it, Commissioner Carollo.
I see.
No, I'm
Okay.
gonna hopefully have it in December. I just have like a quick thing that I wanna put on the record at the end for Public Works and flooding today.
Okay,
That's
so you
it.
want to see yours?
No, mine is not up today.
Oh, okay. We'll, that's D3.
Chris, mine is not up today.
No,
Next
no, I'm
month.
sorry. It's
December.
D3.
Yeah.
D3 and D5. D3?
I was serious when I said before that I was going to be bringing up, I was serious when I said before that I was going to be bringing up parks every meeting until these parks are built. There's no reason why this city should take years and years to build some parks that are not overly big. So please just go through my parks and see where we're at today with them. The parks that we want to build in District 3, the district with the least amount of parks in all of the city of Miami.
Good afternoon, Chris Evans, Parks Director. I have George Moore, Assistant Director as well. We're going to start with the projects that are closest to completion and work our way backwards. So, just giving the overview of the District 3 projects, we have 23 total parks in District 3, which is fourth out of 5. District 4 has 17 parks. There are 9 Parks Department-led projects within the district, 5 capital improvement-led projects. We're going to go over all of them. So we will start with Cuba Memorial Boulevard. We went over this a little bit last time. I brought some renderings of the project as well. It is the Crucero Monument. We are working to assist with the installation. The construction is currently taking place at the site. After the completion of the statue, we will include the pavers, and the goal of that project is to be completed by the end of the year. Next project would be the Phase 2 of the Cuba Memorial Boulevard park improvements, which includes the relocation and the renovation of several monuments, 6 in total that we will be doing work on the boulevard. The next process in there, we will be having the 100% drawings completed for the first portion, Part A, for 4 of the monuments at the end of this month. And then we're working next month to begin coordinating with your office to present the Art in Public Places concepts with the estimated completion date of the project within 6 months after completion, starting the construction to start in April this year.
Are we going to be keeping the same art that's there now in Art in Public Places?
Yes, sir. I wanted to work with your office to determine what was the best plan of action for that.
It's going to be quite simple to move it quickly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Playground project. This is the existing playground at Henderson Park. We would love to work with your office to replace the playground next year. The next phase in the project would be to meet with your office to decide between the 2 concepts. We've already worked with finding 2 concepts that the community would be in favor of, so we're just working on one last item before we complete the design portion to have completed in construction next year. Southside Park, we spoke about this during the last meeting. Essentially, we are trying to complete the 40, 50-year recertification process for that building. To include the last portion of that is the retaining wall repairs. We're looking to complete that project during the summer of next year at Southside Park.
So you're not going to be able to complete the 40, 50 years until summer of next year?
Yes, sir. There's one last portion. We had to go through phases to get the air conditioning. After the last system was replaced, then we can complete the roof project. Yes, sir.
The roof project, I know that it had leaks, and it had affected the inside terribly after
Yes,
we
sir.
spent a lot of money. It was brand new. Is the roof, from what I'm hearing, still not repaired?
I believe the wall repairs was the last portion of the project.
Okay.
So it's not repaired.
It's obviously, we're not going to be able to get a certificate of use until we get the 40, 50 years. So what can we do to speed this up that we don't have to wait until next summer? This is a great space in this building for a lot of the people in that area, including for Commissioner Coba's district. It's right next door.
Sorry, could you repeat the question, Commissioner?
Yes. What can we do to speed this up so that we get the 40, 50-year certification, and then we could get the place opened up before next summer?
Right. I think the last item to complete the element on the 40, 50 year is this last project here. We can, begin hiring a contractor early. So as soon as the permits are complete, we can start construction. That's what we can do. And we can negotiate with the contractors to shorten the time to see if we can finish it faster.
I would greatly appreciate it.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that are looking forward to be able to use that. That's
Absolutely.
divided into two great areas. You could have ballet, you could have yoga, you could have all kinds of activities there. And, no use right now. Close.
Yeah, I get the emails all the time.
The next project, Simpson Rockland Hammock Preserve Park. Another roof replacement and some landscaping elements for the location. We are looking to begin construction in January to complete, within 90 days after January to complete the roof project. The next project, the 1320 Southwest 21st Street Mini Park. Since our last meeting, we had a community meeting on site. We had some great attendance and we were able to get some great feedback on what they would like in their neighborhood. We revealed the concept for the park, and also it is available currently online at miamigov.com/parks. The survey will be open until the 22nd of this month. Then after we complete the comment section, we're going to review with your office so we can begin construction in the beginning of 2024, so we can have this completed during that year.
If I could request of you through the manager that when you give me years, a year's a long time, and we're in 23, when you say next year, I feel my heart palpitating because I don't know if you're telling me in the first 3 months or in December.
For this park, it's December 2024.
For a simple park that is basically going to be grass area for dogs to run in, and outdoor exercise equipment. It's going to take us a year and 2 months from now. Guys, this is the problem that we're having across the city. We need to move this forward. This is a very simple project. I just don't know why everything takes forever. Now, you said you had good attendance. What was the attendance that you thought was good?
So we have 30 residents there on site. And then we also presented to the Homeowners Association the week after as well. So we presented the concepts, and we've been getting feedback on our online survey.
You
based on
got
that.
feedback?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody wanted to, have something other, like maybe planned medical marijuana or something?
I did not get that in our survey.
Didn't get that one,
No,
okay.
no, sir.
Any problems with the outdoor exercise equipment?
We have, fitness enthusiasts, those that aren't really into fitness as well, that commented on the site. We wanted to make sure that it was safe and accessible for those who try to exercise on the boulevard. We did hear some comments, so, it's not always as safe on the linear park to do, the exercises that they wanted to do. So they wanted to have one, dedicated space where they can potentially, do exercise and bring their dogs to the park as well. So they wanted us to be strategic how we place them, but when we do our second revision, we'll make sure that the
How about on the dog park? What feedback did you get?
More on the surfacing. We wanted to kind of leave it as natural as possible. I know that certain dog owners don't like their dogs to have synthetic turf to play on. Some of them want, the park to remain more in nature and more grass and under the tree shade and canopy. So we're looking at doing it, and it'll be faster as well.
That's the cheapest way to go for us, but they'll quickly be coming back asking you to put the artificial turf when the dogs run over and kill all the grass, and then it's dirt, and when it rains, it becomes mud. And I've seen it over and over again throughout the past decades in the city of Miami.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Chris, will you do me a favor? Can you scroll up that project update slide there? I want to point something out to the commissioner.
Slide
Is
up.
everything there? There, okay, yeah, it's all there.
Yeah.
So Commissioner, one thing we're going to try to do to expedite the timeline a little bit is, if you'll notice, there's a rezoning that's required on that property, just part of what takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to try to expedite that April 2024.
Oh, my friends in the Planning and Zoning Board, because
No,
of me, they'll kill that. They'll keep playing with it.
We're going to do everything we can to try to expedite that, because I think that'll help accelerate the timeline and the delivery too.
We have a city now that you got a small minority of haters that all they'd like is to destroy, not construct, and it's not what is being offered, if it's good for a city, for a community, it's who presents it. And I never thought that I would see a Miami like that. Unfortunately, I don't know where some of these people came from. Many are, frankly, newcomers that weren't in our city not that long ago. And they're bringing all the same problems that they created when they left into our city. But thank God it's a small minority. But I'm glad to hear that we're not going to outlaw outdoor exercise equipment in the city of Miami when Joe Carollo brings it up. Thank you. Next.
Yes, sir. The next project, the Simon Bolivar Park Development. I know we wanted to add this from our last meeting. We did not have the visuals here on the last presentation. We're evaluating the options to quickly transform it into a dog park and an open space for residents to enjoy. We're looking to meet with your office in the next few weeks to determine the final scope of the project, and then we can begin the landscaping, and then that'll be quick to make sure it's safe.
The inside is fenced already. The inside.
There's two lots. It's actually two lots in the section, one that we were managed before and the one that was acquired recently.
Right.
But the one on the left is fenced in, but the open one, we have a chain barrier to prevent parking there at that location. But
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir.
That one, we need to address the bulkhead. But the other one that is the one that we have as a park now, that's the one that is perfectly made for a dog park right now. It's the one under the.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of cement, and I think it's like 2 park benches and a lot of cement in that area. You would be looking to have that area to be a dog park?
Yeah, with some artificial turf and so on.
We'll take a look at
People just want to be able to have a place they could let the dogs loose and run.
Absolutely.
And be safe.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So we'll be meeting with your office here in the next 2 weeks. So we'll finalize the short plan, and we'll make sure we're activating the space.
Thank you.
The other Plaza de la Comunidad improvements, we have some renderings here that were added to the presentation since the last time we met. I believe the item passed in this commission meeting to reallocate funds to complete the project. So we're looking to award the construction award in January, so we can begin construction in February.
Okay.
And the last one, before I exchange to capital improvements, it's 2 projects. The first one I know is the concept. Since the last meeting, we were able to work with the design firm to bring the items that you worked with our previous, Parks Director on. We have 2 different concepts. I know we still need to meet to discuss our plan of action on these. This first slide is the first concept that includes a soccer field here at the location near Marlins Park, also a conceptual image as well on that project. The other design is the one for the same location that has a multi-use field there with baseball, but it also includes other amenities. On the right-hand side, playground, basketball, open amphitheater space, playground. But I know this is still in the conceptual phase, and we need to meet with your office to determine, our best plan of action.
Very good. At least I see that you extended the park where we talked about.
Yes, sir.
Into 16th Avenue, in that area there.
Yes, sir. And yes, so our next goal in this project is to work with your office to complete the conceptual design, work with a consultant to review them so we can finally have the design costs ready so we can determine a plan of action of how we get the funds to build the park. And I'm going to hand it off to...
Can you figure out how many additional square feet we ended up with by closing those streets there, making it part of the park?
I don't have it in this design, but I can have it ready for you.
Try to figure it out.
Yes, sir.
I think now it's going to be about a 7-acre park.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Hector Padilla, Director of Capital Improvements. So for Ruben Dario Park, there are 2 property. No. 2 properties that were acquired that there's demolition required on them. We awarded the demolition contract November 2nd. We're finalizing the work order and PO issuance this week. And the properties require replatting and rezoning, so we're proceeding with that in that direction. We're looking at demo permit issuance in December of 2023 and to begin demolition in January 2024.
All right.
Concurrently with the replatting and the rezoning, once the concept's approved, we'll have the architect engineer start the design. So they'll run concurrently, try to expedite the process. Jose Marti.
Let me say this for the record. Here, we've accomplished what the city's been trying to do for years and had never been accomplished. All the lots that we had in the front, we finally been able to get them and put them together. That's where they wanted to put the stadium for UN football. It's going to be a whole park now in this area. I think it's going to be approximately 7 acres. It's going to be a park where that whole community doesn't have one there. It's going to be a beautiful park. Now, I'm pointing this out to my colleagues here because we all have an obligation to vote for things if they are right for our community, not to vote against them just because who's bringing it up. And you got little Billy Cohen pushing their strings, or you got some other characters pushing them another way. And this planning and zoning board that we have is a runaway planning and zoning board. People that have their own interests, they're voting not in the best interests of the city. They're voting for what politically they think is best to them to do, and who's going to applaud them if they vote that way. And this cannot be in a city like Miami. So I'm pointing this out because some of my colleagues have appointments in that board that they didn't make. They were there when they took their seats. And they should sit with the city manager and go over some of the records that we have of steps that have been taken to harm the city by people on that board. And decide if these are the right representatives that you have for yourself or not. And I'll deal a little bit more on this issue after the election.
Okay. Well, Jose Marti Park, this is the shoreline seawall and kayak launch within the park. The design is completed. We have permits from state and federal agencies. We're in our building department on the final cycle for review, and we're coordinating with the federal commerce. There's federal grants on this project, so they have to approve the bidding package. So we're waiting on their approval. We're looking at a permit by this December, initiate bidding by March, award the contract by August, and construction commencement by November 2024. Question? Hoy Park expansion enhancements. There's actually two projects. This is a unisex bathroom and enhancement of the acquired property next to the park. We are in the building department final cycle. We've negotiated already with the contractor. We anticipate building department approval by this week. There is an agenda item, I think, that was approved for $1.9 million towards the project, and we're looking at a groundbreaking ceremony in February of next year.
It's groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, yes, sir.
But I know how that goes. You know, you stick the shovel in the ground, and then if you're not on top of it, years might go before you actually see something on top.
That's not going to be the case here, sir.
Okay.
I'm watching this closely.
The pirate ship that I see here,
Yes, we've given an
and
NTP.
some of the other amenities, do we have it already under contract so they could build it and send it over?
We've given authorization for the contractor to start ordering the equipment for the site. There's a long lead time on items now. We're aware of that, so we're trying to anticipate, and so that by the time he starts, the equipment is there.
Yeah, maybe we'll even buy little Billy to go play there. He'll love it. He's kind of a pirate, you know, pay for play.
Get an eye patch.
He only talks bad about people if they pay him.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right.
No.
We do have two contractors. They're in, one's working on the bathroom, and the other one's working on the expansion. There's some coordination that we also have to hold with your office during the construction, so
Yes.
we'll be scheduling that.
There's some additional dollars in the millions that we have been able to find or acquire, so we could sit down and we could go over that to pay for some of the amenities that these parks will have.
Okay.
Okay.
New Woodside Mini Park. This is the park at 3699, 3701 Southwest First Avenue. It also includes what we call Phase 3, which is an additional park, additional lot, adjacent lot that was acquired. So we received our rental approval by this week. We are issuing NTP by December the 8th, and we have a groundbreaking ceremony, I believe, in December 15th scheduled.
This one went through planning and zoning already?
Yes. Yes. We're ready to go on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
They actually approved outdoor exercise equipment in here?
I
They
think
had
we
no
have-
problems in this,
we have-
in that here?
We still have some pending items that are being finalized, the tree permits and the final building cycle on that. But I expect that to resolve relatively soon.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have some real fun when Mr. Torres and company come here in December. Bring the popcorn.
All right. Phase 2, which is the dog run park area, play area, and shelters. We're looking at finalizing the plans by January on that part. And then phase 3, we're developing concepts based on input for some pickleball courts and community.
When is the time schedule on tearing down that house? I know we had some asbestos problems, so it's taking longer, and I understand that.
Yeah, we had the asbestos, the lead contamination in the property came back unusually high.
Yeah.
So we've been dealing with DERM on that issue. It's kind of delayed the process for the demo. We're still looking at December for the demolition.
Okay.
We'll let you know if that gets delayed.
Can you get together with my office and find out on all the different trees that are there, what was being planned for them? Because instead of taking those out, I'd rather take as many as I can and bring them over.
Definitely, we're coordinating. I think there's some tree transplants.
To Foray Park?
Yes.
Or
Yes, that can be done, yes. I've actually informed the
Even
project
Mayfair.
manager as to that direction.
And that should include not just in that last piece that we brought, but also in the other properties. If there's any trees that were going to be moved, we could place them over there.
Yes, and that would help our mitigation, yes.
All right? Very good. This
Well,
site is one of the most beautiful sites for a park that we have. We have some of the most ancient, oldest, biggest oak trees anywhere near Miami that are there. And it's going to make a beautiful park.
Morazán Quesada Park. We're receiving bids on December 17th through a state contract we call Sourcewell for the park. This park did receive some ARPA funding, so it's federalized. We do have a FDOT permit that we're dealing with for some right-of-way improvements regards there. We're looking at approval for the building plans in January 15. And issue the construction notice by March 2024. And that is it.
That concludes your report?
Yes.
Thank you.
For 3.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. D5.
Oh, I didn't close it.
All right. Your Majesty, Chris Evans.
Your Majesty.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
No? All right, all right.
Poor guy was nervous. The guy was nervous.
All right. Overview of the District 5 projects. 42 total parks in District 5. That's the second most parks.
How many parks in D3?
D3, 23.
How many parks in D2?
49 because of the islands. There are multiple islands there, the dinner key
But
island.
hold on.
Are they parks or not parks?
It's not the amount of parks per se, it's the size of the park.
Oh.
Okay?
Next. Go on.
We have 11 parks-led projects in District 5. I did want to commend my staff. We have 70 open projects just alone in our Parks Department. We have a hard-working crew of 5 that are working on those projects, so they're working hard to bring them to construction. There's another 8 projects that are led by Office of Capital Improvements within District 5. I'm going to start with some of the projects that are nearest to completion and work my way backwards. Henry Reed's Playground, as you see on the left, are the concepts that we had, and on the right are pictures that we took, I think, last week as well. We're almost ready to open the park. We're doing our last inspection this current week, so we'll be working with your office, Chairwoman, to plan the ribbon cutting. So we...
Fantastic.
So we the next project, Charles Hadley Park, Carrie P. Meeks Center improvements. There are 4 different phases of this project as well. We recently completed those last month, which included the parking lot renovation, the black box theater flooring, the theater curtains, and the bleacher replacement. So that is open as of now. Then we have multiple playground projects that will be beginning at the beginning of the year, so they'll be complete by the summer. First of which being the Belafonte to Cosi Park Playground. Right there on this sheet is the rendering of the project.
Are any of these, is any of this equipment sensory that we talked about?
Yes, ma'am.
All of it? All of the new equipment that's coming in will address sensory?
Yes, ma'am. ADA compliant and
ADA
also
compliant.
for sensory.
I just want to make sure that we are moving in that direction. So all children can play in City of Miami parks. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. The next project that will be in construction will be Belmead Mini Park Playground. It doesn't have the shade here on this so you can see the features, but we'll be keeping the same amount of shade area in that playground as well. With sensory equipment there, you can see a little bit of it on the left-hand side. And then there, so that will be coming to the community as well. We're going to be beginning construction in beginning of next year, second quarter of next year, so we can complete it by the summertime. Similar timeline with Miller Dawkins Park Playground and site furnishings. This is a rendering as well of the new playground that will be there. It'll be covering the existing footprint of the park. There'll also be new signage that'll be a part of that project. We're looking to begin that project in the second quarter of next year so we can complete it during the summer or before the summer, depending on weather.
I'd like to have it completed before the summer so kids can play during the summer, don't drag it out too far. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you can get it in the first quarter, then maybe, okay.
Absolutely. The next project, Athlete Range Park improvements. There are multiple projects slated for Athlete Range Park. OCI will be reporting on the community center project. This one is essentially the renovation of the reconstruction rather of the basketball courts and the tennis courts on site. One of the tennis courts will have blended lines for pickleball. We are excited about, growing our senior programming at that facility, so we wanted to make sure we have some amenities that, they would be interested in as well. The goal of this project is to be complete by the fall of next year. This is a full reconstruction of the existing courts.
Okay.
Buena Vista Park improvements, which is the same. We'll be reconstructing the 3 basketball courts that are located on site. There's also another project on site, which is the interior building renovation project. We're working with essentially the same timelines as before for the courts, having those completed by the fall, and then we'll have an update for you on the progress of the interior building renovation because it's a multi-phase project.
Now, why for the fall? Is there anything we can do to expedite this? The fall of next year seems like a long time from now.
Yes, understand it's the reconstruction.
Good afternoon, George Mora, Assistant Director of Parks Department.
Hi, George. Pull the mic down so you don't have to be on your tiptoes.
I'm not as tall as, well, I guess. So yes, we have a number of court projects and playground projects in your district. As these projects move towards construction, our goal is to use the city's job order contracting vehicle. And that job order contracting vehicle allows us to negotiate the timeline. So the quicker we get to that point, we will try to negotiate a faster timeline for all your courts. Whether we hire one contractor for all the courts or multiple contractors, that's going to be our goal, to get them done sooner.
I think you should go with multiple contractors because if you go with one contractor, they can only do
Correct.
one project at a time.
Correct.
So if they're multiple qualified contractors, I think we should hire
Correct.
as many as we can so these projects move.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you.
The next project, the Roberto Clemente AC repair. We are on goal to complete the repairs by the end of this year so we can begin the next phase of the test and balance and do the mold treatment as necessary. It's another, just like the other roof situation where we just have to complete the roof before we can address the mold treatment in one of the areas of the facility.
Okay, so go back to Roberto Clemente Park. And I know Hector is going to have a report on this one too because OCI is involved with this as well. But with the improvements, when you fix the roof and stuff, there's some interior work that can be done because the facility is old. And I would like for the interior to be updated, much like we've done at the Upper East Side, and what I'd like to see done in the Little Haiti Park as well, because everything is dated, and so if we're going to do work, I'd like to see interior work done as well. Make sure everything is ADA compliant, the bathrooms, to do a total remodel of the space.
Yes, ma'am.
While we're there,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Look into that. All right, and the last project, the Moore Park football field, track, and turf replacement. I know this was passed during the last, we were able to expedite the construction work there. So we are looking to begin the work on the football field replacement this month. Yes, so we're gonna need to, it'll be about 4 weeks from the time when we start. Then we'll have to close down the facility, and then we'll work with your office for, the official unveiling of that. But we were able to expedite the construction there for that project.
Fantastic.
Yes, ma'am. All right. No.
Following up with Athlete Range Park, this is for the community center. This is design only right now. We were approved for schematic designs. We're working on 50% construction documents. November submittal for the 50%. 90% plans submitted in February, and a dry run permit set ready in April. Dry run process completed, which is our building review. July of 2024, and we'll bid it that same month. Start bidding that same month, in July 24. We're looking at a construction start fourth quarter of 2024.
It's a long time.
We're going to try to expedite as much as we can, but that's what our schedule shows right now.
Okay, let's see what we can do to expedite that.
Legion Park Community Building, that's the one that's currently in construction. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough-in are completed. Lighting,
Graphic didn't move.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, because I didn't hit the. There you go. So mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is completed. Lighting fixtures are completed. The roofing is completed. Pavers installation at the rear entrance are completed. We're in process of the tile work inside elevator installation. We are processing a change order for new AC units. And then we identified some drainage issues outside the building that we're going to take on as part of this project. We're working with working with OMB on additional funding for those additional services. We're looking at substantial completion in June of 2024 with a CO in July of 2024 and a ribbon cutting. It can be July of 24. We put August.
Well, it says here anticipated end date August 29th, 2024. A whole nother year?
No, that's incorrect. It's August of 2024. The end of construction. Yeah, sometime in August. But like I'm saying, we're anticipated a certificate of occupancy in July.
Okay, but
So July, August, we can have
this has been going on for, it'll take 3 years to do this? Because
Yeah.
you've been working on it for the past 2 years?
No, that's the start date of, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's taken a long
We've-
time just to put a building together.
There's been some unforeseens. There was underground debris that we found in the tennis court when we were installing the new expansion there. And also when we removed the interior, we found the trusses in the roof.
Right,
needed
I
to be
remember
replaced.
the issue with the trusses.
Right, and there's been some other minor issues that's delayed the project, some unforeseens.
All right, we can move this along.
Yeah, it's on our radar.
Okay.
Legion Park Seawall non-motorized boat ramp, that's completed. We're just doing the project closeout now.
You're doing the what project?
Project closeouts.
Close out, uh-huh.
Yeah, this project, I know there's a master plan going on for Legion Park. The future determination of what we're going to do with the site is going to be part of the master plan.
Okay.
There's a Legion Park shoreline stabilization, which is the areas north of the park, all the way to the limits. We're in dry run permitting. Consultant completed 50% plans, and we're to schedule a community meeting for input. So we'll work with your office on that one.
Yes, please, because I've gotten a couple of questions about this.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Little River Mini Park, that's in Shorecrest,
Mhm.
on the Little River. We're in dry run permitting. This project is a redesign. Because of the drainage issues that we have in the area, the pump station is going to be located in the park there. It's actually a road end. It's not an actual lot. It's a street end. So that redesign is going to be integral with what the requirements are for the pump station.
Okay.
So we're looking at a construction start in fourth quarter of 2024 on that project.
Okay, I might come back to this one, not today, but.
Okay. Headley Park, Carrie Meek, this is a resiliency hub that we have there.
Mm-hmm.
We have issued a purchase order for the temporary connection for next season.
For the generator?
For the generator?
Yes.
That is, we also reached out to the contractor that's on contract with us for the generator rental, and he's coming back with 3 cases for rental for next season. So it's either that we have a generator delivered to the site and it's there for the full season, and we pay for rental, or it's an on-demand. If we're within, let's say, 24 hours of a hurricane warning, they'll deliver it to the site.
But the lights flicker on and off there often. So what do we do about that?
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
The seniors call me every time the lights go out. Madam Chair, the lights are out. Madam Chair, the lights are out. So how do we address that issue?
That could be...
Because that center has a day program for the seniors, and then they're sitting in the dark.
We've been working with FPL. It's an issue with the tree cover and near one of their transformers. They had multiple trucks go out last week. We're waiting for the full assessment. I haven't heard that. The lights as of, I think, last Monday, I think they were out, and then they came again, and I haven't heard anything since then. I haven't checked today to see if there's any impact of yesterday's weather, but I'll have a report to your office once we get it back from FPL.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, we'll have an electrical engineer look at that also.
Thank
See what the reports are.
Okay.
And Roberto Clemente. In the short term, I'm just speaking with George to go out and say, I know there's drainage issues out there, so we're going to meet on site to see what we can do in the short term and the long term. We're hiring the AE to do the drainage, to design the drainage and baseball field enhancements there.
Now, this is a collaboration effort, right? Because we're addressing the drainage issue in the neighborhood.
Right. There's actually 2 projects, right? So
Right.
Public Works is doing the surrounding area, the surrounding streets, and then we're addressing the drainage within the park.
Okay, so maybe Public Works should come and give a report on the drainage issue in the neighborhood, because all of that is interconnected, as well as I have placed Roberto Clemente Park as one of my priorities for the state, and we're trying to get state funding as well to move this project along.
So, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Juvenal Santana, Director of Public Works. So, the Roberto Clemente Neighborhood Project, that was one of the priority projects that we identified out of the master plan. It was one of the 24. You had directed us through the manager's office to seek funding. We were able to apply, and we got a grant for half of the money for the project for the neighborhood improvements. In September, we brought the declaration of intent for the matching dollars that was being required by the funding agency. So we now have the dollars in place, and we are now working with procurement. That project is slated to go out for bid because of the size. We're going to be getting a consultant on board in March.
We can't speed that up a little bit? March? Why March?
Well,
versus December, January?
So we have a group of projects, and we have also other projects in District 5. Particularly, we have the Shorecrest project. That one's more advanced, so that is also a grant project, also sea level rise. That one we're able to get a consultant on board, and we're working on the pump station for that one. So it's many projects, and we're trying to slate them in and get them going as soon as possible. And we're condensing our solicitation so that we can get multiple consultants on board at the same time to do our projects. So.
And I just want to make sure, and I'm putting it on the record, that this park project is top priority for my legislative ask, funding from the state. So if you guys need to coordinate with that, share information so that our state reps will know that we are funding this project, and their funding will complement what's happening in this neighborhood. I just want to make sure that we address every funding source possible so we can move this neighborhood project as well as the park project forward.
Yeah, we can do that collaboration in departmental with Public
Okay.
Works and Parks and the manager's office.
Okay, perfect. What else?
Moore Park Gym, there's a project that's ready for construction. We're just waiting for the funds.
Mhm.
And that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, fantastic, perfect. I'd like to get regular updates on where we are with this because I want these projects to move forward. I didn't see Little Haiti on here, but the community center needs to be addressed. That community center needs some love, okay? Thank you, guys. Our next discussion item is regarding the homeless. It's an homeless, update on the homeless issue.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I'm not as tall as the previous director.
Just pull the mic down.
So I'm going to give you a homeless update.
We don't care how tall you are, it's just how effective you are.
I think I'm doing a great job. I'm going to give you an update for the period of October.
Come with me out tonight and I'll tell you how good of a job you're doing.
Say that again, sir?
Come out with me tonight.
I will.
And I'll show you how great of a job you're doing.
I'll come out with you, sir.
Yeah, okay. What time?
Whatever time you like to go, sir.
Manager, are you available too? So I'm not going to be accused of giving orders or any other BS?
Depends on what time you go out. Yes, I'm available. It has to be late, though, because I will be home being a single dad till probably about 9, 10 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'll go happy to go out with you after that.
11:30?
Do it.
Okay. We'll discuss later where we're meeting and where we're going.
We can meeting wherever you like to go, sir.
Okay.
I would love to go out.
All right.
So the reporting period for October, we had a total of 402 placements. 50% was in District 5, 40% in District 1, and maybe 10% in your district. Less than 1% in D2 and D4. For the period of November, the first week of November, there was 132 placements. So total, there's a total between October and November, 534 homeless placements. They can be duplicates because individuals can get placed and then get out of housing and then get placed again. And for your specific district in D3, from the inception of the night heat, there was 87 total placements. In District 3, 87 since the inception of the heat night request. So we're picking up, when we started, it was a little bit less, but we're picking up and we're getting more people placed in the evening run.
So how many did you get in District 3 that were placed
87.
in the month of?
This was since the inception, 9/23 to November 11.
Okay. Are you finding that some of them are coming back or not?
We're finding some are coming back. Some are shelter resistant, and we're finding some that we can't place in shelter due to not being able to service them because they don't have the proper documentation. But we are working with the Homeless Trust and a few organizations that are working with us to place those that don't have proper documentation.
And how many placements in D5?
D5, for the month of October, 141.
And D2?
D2, 3. But the major concentration in placements are between District 1 and the Attapata area and District 5 in Overtown.
That's where the major amount of homeless are at, no question about it. And in D1 is because the jail is right there. They let them out, no matter what they tell us.
So between the day operation and between the night operation in your district, there was 143 homeless shelter placements.
Well, in my district, and frankly in all the districts, they have to be night operation for the most part.
Absolutely. And I've been working with the pay setters, the actual staffing agencies that's causing some of the issues within the district to come up with a way of processing their individuals that they're doing for day laborer jobs so we can kind of control that particular area, because I know that's an issue as well. We have a lot of individuals coming to Flagler to pay setters about 2 in the morning to get the day laborer job. So we're working with the staffing agency to figure out a way to process them so we don't have so many people congregate early in the morning to try to get day labor at 4 a.m.
The Flagler area, how clean is that now? Flagler and 12th, that whole area?
Yes, I'm working with the Walgreens and the district to figure out a way to mitigate it. We're looking at fence, we're looking at a couple other things. I have a meeting, I think, set up either next week or the week after to come up with a process that I'll report to you on how we're
Well,
going to mitigate.
Walgreen is one area.
No,
You
no.
have anywhere from 6 to 10 max. I'm talking about the rest of Flagler.
No, the whole Flagler
From
corridor.
10th to 13, those 3 blocks. How many do you think you have left in that area?
The majority of the placements in your district are coming from that Flagler corridor, from that area between 6th and I want to say 12th on Flagler, the majority of them.
I just want to see how you guys do it too, when you offer them shelter, how it's done.
I'm in talks with police and heat to see how we can do additional, maybe extend hours. But again, we have issues with the service providers being able to get beds so late in the evening to place. And that's one of the issues why the operations can extend a little bit past 10. That's just where we are now, but we're trying to work to resolve that, to be able to place later. And I think that'll be a little bit more effective for you.
So you mean the operations for the heat?
The operations of Camilla's house, the Chapman's house, when we're trying to place, it's hard to place beyond 10 o'clock to get beds. But we are working with multiple service providers to place at a later date, and if we can work that out, then we can expand operations.
I want to say too, because I went on a ride along with them during the evening. That's dangerous work. Let me just tell you, it's dangerous work what they do, addressing the homeless, approaching them in the night, and it's so many. And you get them placed, and they come right back. They come right back, or they leave or they move, and they come right back. And when we went that night, we placed a lot of people, and there was this one family, and when they saw us, they said, "Thank God." They wanted help. They said, "Thank God," and they went into shelter. But I just want everybody to know, because a couple of times I was scared, because you didn't know what you were walking into. You didn't know the cuts and the turns, and it's, not in well-lighted areas, and you just don't know. So, and I want to say, you guys, to be careful, because we have to have always a compassionate position. Take a compassionate position, but it's not always easy. And then there's some homeless that need medical attention, that may have some issues, some mental issues, but we have to remain compassionate, but you also have to consider your safety. And I just wanted to stress that, because that night we got so many persons placed, but it breaks your heart to see people who want shelter that are living on the street. So what you guys are doing is a very much needed service. And prayerfully, some of those families that we placed are finding permanent housing now. The system needs a lot of work. There aren't enough beds. There aren't enough services. And there aren't enough permanent housing to get them placed. So,
And not enough mental health assistance as well for them.
right. Well, we're going to rectify that with the new shelter that's coming on board, Judge Leifman's project that's coming on board. So there's a rainbow at the end of the tunnel there. But again, it's the need is so great, and our resources aren't. We're doing everything that we can. There's more that we can do. But it's difficult, and it could sometimes become overwhelming, or I could see how you could become overwhelmed and think that maybe what you're doing isn't making a difference. But I saw that night that you are making a difference. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
You know that I've been seeing, Madam Chair now and Vice Chair, an increasing number of people that live on boats, that have had to go and live on a boat because they cannot find housing. And that has become like an increasingly problem. They have come to my office. I've gotten 2 people already that have come to my office asking for help because they're on their boat. They do the impossible to actually get offshore. They do the impossible to find a place to take a shower. And we've been trying to give priority to, of course, families with children. And the whole concept of taking them to the county. And then if you don't have income, many times you cannot find some type of affordable housing, has been complicating things. So I think it's a mix of people that really cannot afford a place to live, and then people who have mental issues. And then I would say that the third component that is complicating everything is the fact that we don't have enough resources to actually go and address the amount of unhoused people that we have right now in the district. So thanks. We've been getting the heat reports, and they're great. I mean, at least we can know exactly where we have issues, and some of them are repeating people that just come back, but a lot of them really need a bed. So thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner, do you have any more for? Well, you're going on your ride along tonight at 11:30.
We're going,
Good times.
yeah,
You're
going
gonna
out
see.
tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I believe this will conclude.
No, one more thing,
One more
Madam
thing?
Chair.
What?
This is really quick. I just wanted to have for a second our head of Department of Public Works, Juvenal Santana, because of the flooding this morning. Juvenal, would you mind, please? I just want to put on the record the current situation that we're having today within my district, and I think, Commissioner Carollo, some part of your district, we are like in desperate need right now for FPL assistance, which within District 2, I need to say that we've been in communications all day to try and get FPL to work more efficiently with us. I still had by 3 p.m., like I think 1,200 homes without electricity, and I know it's not under your jurisdiction, but Mr. Manager, I just want to see how we can become more efficient because this was an unexpected storm. I cannot imagine what would happen when we get a storm next year during hurricane season in District 2 and I think in the rest of the city. Then I just want to put on the record that we had a situation with a leak into a bay that we've been talking back and forth with the manager and with Juvenal about a month ago on 33rd and Biscayne, and we addressed it. But today I started getting again the complaints and the requests. So I wanted to know where are we at with renovating that seawall, and if it was a leak that just came from the seawall, if it's a situation from the county, because that day it happened on a Saturday, the county came out. But this morning, it seems that it happened again. So I just want to get an update on that, please.
Sure. Again, Juvenal Santana, Director of Residence and Public Works. So specific to the seawall and the Alpha on Northeast 30th Street, the discharge that was occurred about October 20th, there appears to have been, again, another reoccurrence with a large storm that we had last night. We visited the location this morning. Our inspectors went out there, and we found a utility contractor that had excavated the roadway and had not put back and restored the area. We found the silt along the gutter. We've issued them a violation. We've contacted DERM, and we're going to be following up to see what else we have. We can revoke their permit and possibly take additional actions with them. Now, as far as the seawall is concerned, the erosion was not. We are aware that the seawall needs to be replaced. It's one of the seawalls that is already grant funded and bond funded. We have already have a consultant on board, and we have a scope already approved. So we are going to be replacing that seawall and building the baywalk section for that entire right-of-way as well.
How long would that take?
That work should be done in about 2 years.
And what do we do in between? Because the amount of questions that I get regarding why are we sitting on money to renovate, for example, Briggle Bay Drive, and we're not doing it. Why are we sitting on money? So are we sitting on the money, or are we going to actually make this happen one day?
So the matching dollars to these grants were just received this year, and the matching dollars, similar to what we did with Clemente, that was all part of that intent for debt that was approved in September. That was all the matching dollars for all these projects. And as I mentioned, all of the seawalls already have consultants on board. All the scopes are approved. So as far as if you ask me, as far as I'm concerned, we're not sitting on money. We had identified funding. We went after grants to leverage those dollars. We are now in a position where we can move forward and get these projects into construction. For seawalls, they are going to take some time because of the environmental permitting associated with them, but construction should move rather quickly once we do have permits, but our intent is to replace just about every seawall that we can with the monies that we have. So this is one of the locations that we identified that needed to be replaced. In the meantime, we will continue to inspect it. If anything becomes emergent with it, we have capabilities of dealing with an emergency repair if the need arises.
Thank you. I do have to say that from the moment that we spoke 6 months ago to now, today after the storm, we got less emails complaining about flooding, which I think it's positive, and I thank you for that. And then regarding...
Helps me sleep at night, so.
And then regarding the situation of our relationship with FPL, I am sure that you remember when Irma came. I was living in the Center Grove at the time, 20 days without electricity. I believe the South Grove went 40 days without electricity. What can we do, Mr. Manager, to improve the relationship or the, I would say, or Juvenal, how can we make this more effective? Because we are going through a situation that if we get a major storm, we're not going to have electricity for a long time. I mean, it was just a bunch of rain last night, and I'm getting emails from families that have babies or seniors that they cannot be without electricity for more than 14 hours.
So, not speaking directly for Florida Power and Light, but what I can tell you is that post-Irma, there was a project established by Florida Power and Light to provide underground services to a particular area in Coconut Grove.
But it never happened.
Well, the issue that has been brought to our attention by Florida Power and Light is that they've approached the residents because this will require transformers that are now sitting on poles to be sitting on the ground, and they require easements to be provided for those, just like you see them in planned communities all over Miami-Dade and Broward County. And they have not been able to get those property owners to agree to those. So basically, if they do not have the agreements for those transformers, they cannot move forward with the project. So so from Florida Power and Light, that is what they initiated. They're trying to get there, but they need cooperation from the property owners to put in that safe storm program, I think that they call it.
Well, I'm going to be here to champion that because it's really important.
The other thing that Florida Power and Light does is that they have a vegetation management program, is that they will move through the city and maintain and clear for reliability. That basically means that along the distribution lines, they're clearing those lines. The particular services to an individual property, they're not responsible for, but they will work with property owners to disconnect the service so that trees can be trimmed, and then they will reconnect them. One of our pump stations, I can tell you the pump station in Belmead today, we have intermittent issues because our line comes through a property and they have not been receptive to Florida Power and Light clearing the service line that serves our pump station. So I just had a conversation with Florida Power and Light about that today, that we may be in need of working with code compliance to ensure that we can have reliability for our pump stations.
Thank you. And just my final concern that I think is really important, and I'm not sure if we have anyone from the building department here. So I got a situation, and I've been getting situations with, and you've seen it, with the way that we are actually mitigating when we have demolitions or where we have cranes in downtown Brickell. And every time there's a storm, I would say a lot of the people in my district are terrified because they feel that they're gonna have an accident, that the crane is gonna fall, that the debris from a pool, of a building in construction is gonna fall into a pool. So I've been dealing with this for the past 3 months. I just got another complaint from someone that is telling me that one building in particular, and I'm gonna call the constituent after we finish, that the crane actually fell on top of a balcony. So I'm gonna see what's going on there, but we need to make sure that if we're a vertical city, that we can make sure that all of this construction is making our constituents that are neighbors to the construction safe. Because it's been like 3 or... Thanks. You were listening to me, right?
I was, and I missed some on the way down. I apologize.
Well, my concern that I've been expressing to you, but unfortunately, we need to have a storm for me to have another complaint regarding some type of accident that can happen or happened regarding a storm with a construction site next to a building that is residential and that it's already occupied. So my question is, where are we in actually making sure that we're mitigating in the right way all of the construction that is happening within our city when we have storm, when we have rain? I'm going to put a perfect example. Recently, there was a project in Edgewater that the night of the storm, it seems that the debris from the building went and it actually fell in the pool for the building that was next to it. A family with children complained, and I really want to see what are we going to do to make sure that we are giving the right permits and that we're actually making the people that live in vertical communities, which is part of my district, safe.
So, good afternoon, Commissioner.
It happened with the project on 444, on the related one that we had, that we were back and forth, that the people were concerned. But when there's a storm, people are more concerned because they think that whatever is happening with a crane is going to actually fall on their building.
So let's address the storms. Whenever we are threatened with a particular storm, one of the first actions that the building department will take is to inform every single construction site and stop, and we mandate that construction activities will cease immediately, and that they essentially transition from a construction site to one of a cleanup and secure. That we have done that every time we're threatened with a tropical storm, at least a tropical storm. We have, last year, we did that exercise 3 times. So we not only do that for every construction site, we do that for every building that is required to have floor panels installed as part of their CO. We have become very proficient in doing that, and we distribute pamphlets that inform every contractor how to get their sites secured. We put media outreach through our with communications every time we're faced with a storm. So that's something that we have done consistently for the past few years. Now, in this particular water event that we had, this is not something that we would do for that, because that obviously we don't have the advance notice to communicate that to those construction sites. But I guess one of the, it is imperative that construction sites are maintained clean, right? So that's something that we can always work on to make sure that consistently, and aside from in advanced storms that could be heading our way, that we are a little bit more proactive in making sure that those sites are clean to avoid an incident like the one that we have just
I think that in the
transpired.
long run, we need to work on something permanent, in where if we get a storm like last night that wasn't, I would say, announced, because we didn't know that it was going to happen the way it happened, that we have some type of plan in place. And I think that, and I think we had this conversation before regarding how we can make sure that our building code actually resembles cities that are vertical. Because that's the worry that we have right now in my district. It's that people are concerned, they think that tragedies are gonna happen, and there's fear. And that's not fair for the people who live in District 2.
And I would like to, I know that we had a conversation about that, and I want to remind you that we're actively working on a technical amendment to Chapter 33. We're very, we've had I want to say no less than at least 10 meetings internally to work on that document. It's very complex, it's very detailed, but it's something that we are actively pursuing. And as soon as we have a working draft, we will be obviously, sharing that with your office immediately. So I hope that before the end of the year, we have our first initial working draft that we can go ahead and circulate amongst this body for your proper feedback.
Thank you, Ace.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. At this time,
If I could ask the building director, I don't know if you're the right person to address this to, but I've gotten reports that in many areas of District 1, where we don't have a commissioner right now, there have been many of the buildings of elderlies that don't have electricity. Do you have any information on that? And
Buildings that don't have, can you repeat that, Commissioner?
electricity in District 1, elderly centers or buildings for elderly in District 1 that don't have electricity. I was told St. Dominic's on 7th and 57th, the Aura building in Alapata, and others don't have electricity as of this morning, late morning, early afternoon.
No,
And
that's not something that has been brought up to my attention. I mean,
well, I'm bringing it up because District 1 does not have a president commissioner.
Yeah.
And if we could check into it, I don't know if you're the appropriate body to address it to, or is it the fire department?
I can tell you that from the building's perspective, you know, anything that any of those facilities would need on an emergency basis in order to get electrified again, I mean, we will be ready and on standby to assist from a building department's perspective.
Well, it concerns me because these are buildings strictly with elderly.
Yeah. And when it comes to particularly ALF, you know, we are the only city, I want to point this out, we are the only city in the county that has actively maintained an inspection of every facility to make sure that they comply with our regulations for backup power in case of a situation like this. And we are the only city in the county that has the highest level of compliance for that particular.
And I compliment you for that, because if we didn't have you here, it might not be that way. So I want to thank you publicly for that. But Mr. Manager.
But we'll follow up on that.
Mr. Manager, can we get the fire department, maybe working with building, but the fire department might be more appropriate, to go to some of the places that I mentioned, to check out all the elderly facilities and buildings in District 1.
Are there specific addresses that maybe Will can share with us?
Yeah, we've gotten some information on that so that we could attend to District 1 also.
Okay, we'll certainly do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Commissioner, what we can do is, I'll be happy to share with you the inspections protocols that we have for ALFs and which ones have been inspected between fire and building for that level of compliance in the city of Miami.
But it's not just ALFs.
Understand.
Okay, because what he's talking about is a senior building. Okay, all right, thank you. I believe this shall conclude the commission meeting for November 16th, 2023. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Likewise.
I hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. See you in December.
See both of you in December.
See you in December.
For sure.
For sure. That's right.
It's adjourned, but can we sing Juvenal happy birthday?
Oh my God.
It is Juvenal's birthday?
Today is Juvenal's birthday.
We did a really bad job of singing happy birthday upstairs, so I'm not sure.
I
we should
saw the
repeat that.
birthday
It
balloons.
was pretty bad.
Happy birthday, Juvenal. Juvenal, today is my son's birthday. I knew I liked Juvenal for a reason. Today is my son's birthday as well. Happy birthday.
And you told me yesterday, I totally forgot.
Scorpio season.
Madam Chair, can we actually embarrass him by singing to him?
Let's sing to him. Feliz cumpleaños.
1, 2, 3.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, dear Juvenal.
Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
you.